Okay, welcome to People's People's Power Talk, our new podcast name. Right. Here again with us is Mr. Derrick.
Hello,
Sim.
hi.
Hi. So Mr. Derrick Sim, nice to see you again.
Hello.
Well, the other time when we did the broadcast, a lot of people ask a lot of questions.
Yeah.
The CPF thing.
Yeah.
You want to make clarification?
Yeah. Okay, so I think I will go through some of the question,
Okay.
and then some people ask why I joined People's Power Party and
Yes.
why I joined Meng Seng lah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why you want to join me?
Okay, so if you realize, right, actually among all the opposition party, or not just opposition party, but also all the parties in Singapore, only Meng Seng speak up on the vaccine issue. No one is speaking out on this matter. Yeah, so the other thing is, if you realize, right, he's the one of the veteran of candidates, right, that has been around in the political scene for many years. And despite losing, right, he keep on fighting and coming back to speak up for Singaporeans.
I hope not to lose again.
Of course.
Again.
Yeah. So
All right.
the other one is Chee Soon Juan, and I don't think other than Meng Seng and Chee Soon Juan, I don't think there's a lot of Singaporean like they lost already, they come back. This is in terms of energy, right? If you all understand, the whole universe, right, is made of energy. In terms of energy, right, actually he has a very high energy level. In case you all don't understand, that he no matter what, that he don't speak up for himself. He's always speaking up for Singapore policy. What are the things that we can improve? And over here, I like the idea that what are the things that we can actually speak up to make Singapore a better place. That's our philosophy. How to value add to Singapore. Yeah. So, and that's the reason why I'm joining you.
Yeah.
Okay. So I also urge, right, let's say for anyone who actually watching this video, you have the same philosophy. Like you want to make Singapore a better place. You think that there's some policy that you can be much better. Please join us.
Yes, definitely. So after that, I think beside the vaccine thing that you say, right? What else do you actually go for? What do you I mean beside the vaccine thing? There must be something else that you feel that is important for you.
Okay, so
First of all, like retirement in Malaysia.
Okay, yeah, that's a very good question. So I think in the last podcast, one of the comment they asked, why do I support retirement in Malaysia? So actually, I'm not supporting retirement in Malaysia. I'm just stating a fact that a lot of Singaporeans are actually going to Malaysia to retire. I mean, you can meet, you can go down to KSL, go to JB. You see a lot of Singaporeans. You can interview them. You ask them, why are you staying in Malaysia rather than in Singapore? Then you hear from them directly. Yeah, so it's a fact that a lot of Singaporeans are retiring in Malaysia right now.
Okay, so you don't support. Do
I
you
mean,
think
it's
it's
a
viable?
choice. It's a choice issue. It's not like
Choice
support
issue.
or I don't support. It's an observation that I see that's happening on
Okay.
the ground.
Okay.
Mm.
So about the CPF, people are questioning why do you think that is a good idea for people to take out CPF for retrenchment, maybe, no? Or for some other things earlier than they should. Yeah. So they are actually saying that there's a conflict because you are saying that CPF not enough, but you still allow people to take out.
Okay, so because CPF has been quite inflexible for a very long, let's see CPF as a long-term saving plan for all the Singaporeans. For such a long term, like almost 40 years, right? If you start working at 20 or 21, right, and then you retire at 65, that's like how many years? 50 years? Yeah. So for such a long period of time, our life don't go smoothly. There'll be ups and downs. So in
Okay.
between, let's say there's some people get retrenchment. Is it possible to allow some flexibility from CPF to allow them to draw?
I see. Flexibility.
Yeah, but of course, the other aspect is the balance part. If I draw so
Okay.
much, then in the end, I cannot retire. So what we need to see is that, is it possible to let them draw, let's say, cap at 5% of the total amount, of the total account
Okay.
amount? Yeah.
I think the basic thing is the main important thing is CPF returns are very low.
Yeah. So I think during the last podcast, I mentioned about rising the interest rate. Of course, there are some comment that say that who are going to fund for the interest rate.
Yeah.
Yeah, who will? Then the other thing is, I also suggest having a non-contributory scheme to support as a safety net for those people who can't work or they are
Yeah.
severely ill.
Who
Yeah,
who are going to
to
support that?
fund this. Yeah.
Fund this?
So of course, right now we don't have all the data. Until government is like giving more info, we cannot anyhow speculate and throw a number. Yeah, but this portion of rising interest rate and having a non-contributor scheme is important because in the first place, right, is the government even looking and saying that this is a priority? Let's look at it, or say just throw out. Because if you are not even discussing that we should raise the interest rate or we should have a non-contributor scheme to make Singapore a better place and just throw it out, I think there's nothing to discuss.
But someone actually mentioned this. Our OA is 2.5,
Mm.
and it is because of that HDB can loan us 2.6%. So you are going to increase the OA. That means for the mortgage interest rate that we borrow from HDB, it will be have to increase, right? So that will be a chicken egg problem now.
Okay, so you see, if we go back to the history of CPF, right, in the past it's about 5 to 6%.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, is the mortgage rate about 5 to 6%?
I don't think they allow them to use CPF to pay this.
Yeah, you see,
That,
that's
yeah.
the issue, you
Yeah.
see. Yeah. So why in the first place, why is the comment coming in that why we link it to the
Yeah.
HDB? Now we are talking about retirement, and retirement should have a higher interest rate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how much the government want to loan is their issue.
Yeah.
It should be
So
separate
because
issue.
we are talking about retirement, then why does the netizen actually come in to throw into a spanner and say, HDB loan? Why? There's no relation at all.
In fact, if HDB is giving us 2.6% and the OA is higher, maybe 4%, right? We will not use our CPF to go and pay the mortgage. We instead use our own cash.
Yeah.
I think that actually makes sense because CPF is only for retirement. It should not actually be multitask to do HDB mortgage.
One of the other solution is that we can limit how much we can use CPF
Yeah.
OA.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's
Makes
say
sense.
limit up to 5% or a quantum. It's the balance and the fine tuning of the policy, which I think is important,
Yeah.
and to make this a better place.
So it's a total reconstruct of the whole system. We have our policy option, right? It's not basically, I should say, all over the years, I've been providing solutions up to a point that I say enough because the PAP have been copying a lot of ideas from us and not giving due credits. Whether it's me, whether it's Dr. Chi. Dr. Chi actually provided a lot of solutions, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Universal healthcare insurance, but they use the Medishield
Life, Medishield Life, yeah.
So it's similar, but same, same, but different. So we have this problem of that problem. But when the election comes, we will provide the policy options and the solutions. And most of my detractors, so called, on my Facebook, you start to see a lot of funny characters coming in. Start to say that I only criticize and criticize. Actually, it's not. Like recently, I just go through the population paper. These population paper are actually prepared by PMO, the Prime Minister Office. And I start to be curious why 2021 suddenly we have a drop in our citizen population. This is very rare. I think over the 30 years we have never experienced that.
Maybe many foreigners went back overseas.
Not foreigners, it's actually
Local.
citizen population.
Okay.
Right? It's considered as they are our citizen, but somehow the citizen population drops.
Okay.
It drops by 25,000. Right? But I think it's more. Why? According to the stats, I think we should have another 19,000, about 19,000, 18,000, who are actually addition to our citizens population by birth minus a death,
Okay.
right? That should be added on. But we have a deficit of 25,000. So when I raise this, when I studied, I realized that there are a lot of citizens who gave up their citizenship during that period of time. At least 25K, actually it's more. My calculation, my simple calculation, the citizen population this year is equals to last year plus the number of new citizens we gave up, right? Plus the number of newborn citizens, minus away those are dead.
Do we have the data of migration, like Singaporean migrate to other countries?
It's not specifically they list out.
Okay,
PAP government is always is a way opaque, right? So we have to do a calculation backwards.
okay,
So we have to deduce, we call it deduce the data. So this is my job. I have been doing this since my university days because we find it very frustrated when we want to study about the economy. But the data is actually presented in such a way that what they want us to see.
yeah,
So we have to do some deduction, minus calculation, and we must know the context, how to derive this number. So by the definition, I found that at least 50,000 have left.
okay, okay.
Right now, who are these people?
Maybe some, I don't know.
2021 is just after the pandemic started. 2020. In order for you to apply for a citizenship in another country, it takes a long time. You cannot just give up your citizenship, correct? So it must be it's definitely not me, not you who are born here. It's very difficult. You want to apply citizenship in Australia, try lah. It takes you 5 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So it is not possible. So my deduction, my simple understanding of the mechanics, these are actually new citizens who came from other countries like mainland India or mainland China. They have a policy that they are readily will accept back their own citizens after they give.
Do they have this policy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially India, they have even an overseas citizen, Indian citizenship. It's a very strange part. They don't recognize dual citizenship, but for some reason they do have this mechanism, right? So anytime you want to go back, you can actually go back. It's by race,
Okay, okay.
right? So they are 民族 lah,
Okay.
by race. I think China also have this, but back then, this is what happened. It means something. It means that these new citizens or these citizens that we have incorporated into our society as a nation have no loyalty. Anything
But
happen?
they could be also people passing away, right?
No.
And that's why the population going down.
No. The passing away will actually be stated in the ICA about the death because you have to issue a death certificate. The birth death certificate and death certificate will be registered in the ICA. Whether you die in Singapore, whether you die overseas, as long as you are dead, you're registered in Singapore. So that inheritance and all that will comes into play.
Okay.
All right. So that is already accounted for. Right. So this is something that it actually have an underlying problem. When I say that, I do not have solution because this is a problem caused by PAP. So, right? Because they're giving citizenship to people who will run away at the first sight of trouble. If you remember correctly, in 2020, India side have not have the pandemic full blown yet. China already full blown, is closed down, right? It's locked down, right? So Singapore start to have lockdown, right? Have all these problems, and suddenly we have this exodus.
Okay, so this is basically our deduction.
Our deduction.
It's a possibility, it's not confirmed.
Yeah.
It's just a
Well,
possibility.
only the people in power will know, but it's a reasonable deduction on that, right?
Okay, just yeah.
Now, when I raise this, it means a problem. It means a population policy needs to be adjusted.
Yeah.
Who we should give citizenship, right? And how to manage.
Yeah.
Were these new citizens that comes in will fight along with you and me in a battlefield if we are being attacked? Or just like this, will snap all out? So this is something for everyone to think about, right? So I have no solution. It's just that
Observation.
observation that comes in. So you cannot say that I only attack. It is a problem,
Yeah.
right? So for other things like HDB, I actually you remember, right? I share you the link, right? The whole list, whole thing have been put up as a problem. I projected within 30 years, we will have a problem of aging list. We have a problem of rebuilding all the estate because 99 years now.
Yeah.
Now some of the estate already 50 years already. I don't think the HDB built in the past can last 100 years. About 70 to 80 years most. Right? So these are the some problems that PAP is sitting on it. It's a time bomb.
Actually, what you say, right, is happening. It's
Yes.
going to happen. It's happening. And the other thing is that I'm going to talk about the election, coming election.
Yes.
Okay, so what I see is that this election is a watershed election. It's the last election, right, whereby I can see the population of the foreigner, the new citizen, are not going to overtake Singapore yet.
Okay.
The upcoming one, they might actually shift whatever population policy. And moving on, there might not be a chance, right, whereby other party can come in. That's my view. Because we can see like over the 20 years, right, approximately average is about 20,000 new citizens coming in.
Yes. We have the stats, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
So
we have
about
the stats.
it's more than 20,000.
Yeah.
It's more than 20,000.
For the last years, I think.
Yeah, so just to make calculation easy, so 20,000 multiplied by 20 years, how much is it? 400,000, right? 400,000. Then,
wait. Shomugan just said that the average is 16,000 only.
no, but we have the statistic. Yeah, all these are from Sing stats, right? So it's just like when before the game start, before the election start, right? It's just like we have to give handicap to KP already. If you play ball, you watch football, right? You know we have to give handicap to them, and then we are already losing behind. On top of that, they have more funding, they have more branding, they have more media shout out. So these are our challenges. So I hope all Singaporean, whether you're new citizen or native Singaporean, please support the opposition. Put us in. We'll actually speak up for you on more policy issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And why I say this is serious, right? And some people say if I vote for opposition, we will die. Let me ask you one question. Let me ask you three questions. Do you even know who is your MP?
Yeah. Oh, vote for me will die.
For opposition will die. So let me ask you, do you
Okay.
even know who is your PAP MP?
Okay.
Second, what had they speak up for you and your rights since the last election?
Okay.
And the last one, what are the 5 speeches you remember of your MP? I want to see the comments. What are the comments? Any comments?
Any comments?
Do you remember who is your MP? And what is the last time they speak out on you for you? Yeah, our studio director is in
The
front.
studio director. Any
Yeah.
comments?
Any comments from the audience?
None. Okay.
No, I mean, who's your MP? Do you know?
Who's the MP? Anyone know?
What are the 5 speeches, right, that your MP speak up for you or for Singaporean rights? Oh, I didn't. Actually, I went down to the
Okay.
rules and proceeding, right, for the GST debate bill.
Uh-huh.
Do you know, I forget to include a screenshot for this podcast.
Okay.
Do you know out of all the PAP MP, how many actually voted against the GST bill? Anyone?
Only
many?
10.
No, how many PAP
Oh,
MP?
PS. Kosong.
Yeah, correct. Believe no, 0. That means all your PAP MP all voted for the cost of living to go up, voted for GST, and only the opposition, all the WP opposition MP and
the
PSP
PSP.
MP, they voted against for the GST. Okay. So, and this is why from that moment, I realized that it's quite important to have more diversity, more representation in the parliament.
Okay.
Yeah. The vaccine issue, right, is actually a turning point because it made me aware that a government with so much power, right, they can enact any law anytime they like. They can even enact new laws that apply retrospectively. And this, to me, right, is suicidal for Singaporean. We are actually eroding our rights. Okay, so now I want to delve on the vaccine. So a lot of people say that we are like actually conspiracy theories.
No, we are the dangerous tribe.
Yeah, dangerous tribe. Anyhow say. And then they say we are actually spreading falsehood.
Yeah, we are
Right.
from the WhatsApp University.
Yeah.
Graduates.
But right now I can see the change. There's this overturned theory whereby they say that some people see us as radical,
Yeah.
weird thinking. But now I can see like more mainstream media are speaking up on the vaccine injury. They are already speaking out. So this thing is starting to shift, and I think it's a good progress. Even Singaporeans are starting to notice that there are more and more people passing away. Yeah.
Okay.
So let studio director show the first video.
Okay. The first video.
Actually, in our three dose vaccine center was 80%.
You're talking about efficiency to prevent severe disease or to prevent infection?
To prevent infection.
To prevent infection.
Yes.
This is the Pfizer video.
long term 的一个安全，没有人知道为什么？因为疫苗都是1A1嘛，你们这里你们是1王明基副院长已经提到了，他说有些实验事实上就是疫苗厂商来放的。来出钱让这个医生来进行这个临床试验，证实就是在证实异位菌素有效，因为他把它在比赛就在这个样子，然后再把它加码，最好的一些其他方面，然后每个证据加码的研究结果是异位菌素有效，不要想，这是哪里？就是有疫苗厂商所资金赞助的，这个是黑暗的部分哈，对。现在美国几个医生写信跟加码抗议，这么烂的 paper 你要发表，没有用，要钱 money talk， 好不好？这个这样哈。所以这个后面大的一个政治跟这个利益。
As a cardiologist, I'm going to give an update, as I would to other doctors and nurses, in what we call bench to bedside. Bench to bedside. Some of you have heard that. That's a colloquialism that we use in medicine. Here's the updates, and this is all new from the time I presented to this committee several months ago. The first paper is by Schreckenberg and colleagues, published in the Journal of Pharmacology. Schreckenberg took heart muscle cells from rats in a test tube and applied both the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine directly to the cardiomyocytes. This is the type of safety research that the companies should have done during the development of the vaccines. They found within 48 hours the heart muscle cells got very sick. They started to contract in abnormal ways, conduct electricity and depolarization in very abnormal ways within 48 hours. It was evidence of direct cardiac toxicity. If this would have been a drug in development, likely the drug company would have killed it because it demonstrated early and direct harm to the heart muscle cells. Now, Crossan and colleagues from Harvard has found the messenger RNA in the human heart in people who have died after the vaccine. It's physically in the heart. Castriuta and colleagues published in the Journal of Pathology, Microbiology and Immunology has found circulating messenger RNA in the blood for 28 days, and that's as long as they've looked. So the messenger RNA itself is now being measured in research, and these are not findings that are reassuring at all. Brogna and colleagues from Germany, published in the Journal of Proteomics, found circulating spike protein produced by the messenger RNA in the blood in half of the people who took the vaccine out to 6 months, and that's as long as they've looked. There are now immune syndromes that occur after the vaccines that are well accepted in the literature. In fact, they have acronyms. One's called vaccine-induced thrombocytopenic purpura, VITT. It's a blood disorder where there's clotting and bleeding. It requires hospitalization. It's a medical disaster, and roughly a third die in the hospital of this horrible death. Another syndrome is called multi-system inflammatory disorder. Typically occurs in younger people. We have Americans who have this syndrome where their organs have all been damaged. They end up with tracheostomy tubes in wheelchairs. They are wrecked. A recent report from Japan describes a 14-year-old girl who took a first shot of messenger RNA and had some side effects. A second shot had more side effects. And then 6 months later, she takes the booster. Her sister describes her having trouble breathing that night, and the parents find her dead the next day. They do an autopsy. Every single organ in the body is being rotted out with inflammation in her body, multi-system inflammatory disorder, which is fatal. One case of an adolescent dying of such a syndrome should globally pull these off the market. Autopsy-proven, meticulous cases.
So there we go. World Health Organization, quite surprising really. COVID-19 vaccinations can induce multiple sclerosis from the WHO itself. And I can tell you about this one because it is an official WHO site.
Anytime a biopharmaceutical product remains on the market despite excess mortality, and mounting evidence suggesting greater and greater deaths are accumulating with each and every day that the COVID-19 vaccines are left on the market, that does qualify as mass negligent homicide for all of those who are responsible for manufacturing the vaccines, distributing them, administering them, and then promoting them. Each and every person that ever encouraged, pressured, coerced, or threatened reprisal for one of these COVID-19 vaccines is complicit in a crime against humanity, and that crime is mass negligent homicide.
So you see all these videos, I actually cut into all the different segments. You don't actually get all this news. You don't see this on the media.
In Singapore media.
In Singapore media. Yeah. So, and after seeing all this evidence, and all these are actually journal published as well. There's a lot of peer-reviewed journal being now there's I think about 3,000 talking about the correlation between the vaccine and the vaccine injury. Yeah, in Singapore, if you go to MOH website, it's still encouraging you to take your booster. Every year, take one more. Yeah, really. You can just go and talk about, you just Google COVID-19 vaccine, MOH, then you see what. Okay, the next video I'm going to show is a video published very recently on New York Times. So I think there's the shift in the everything. The mainstream media is already starting to recognize and talk about vaccine injury and the correlation between the vaccine and the vaccine injury.
Wait, before we start the video, you must understand the context. New York Times is a definitely pro-vaccine media.
Yeah.
Right from the start of the vaccination program, they have been promoting. In fact, the guy who you are going to see was the journalist who actually pushed for vaccine. But until at some point of time, he kind of vaccine injured. Then he has second thoughts about that. Right? You have never seen this in our media, right? Of course.
Okay,
this is Singapore lah.
So there's a comment say, what can the opposition promise you? The reason why I'm showing all this vaccine video is I want to understand. I want all of you to understand what is the thought process the government is thinking. What are they thinking about when they introduce or coerce all this vaccine onto you?
Most important thing, if you vote me in and Derrick into Parliament, rest assured when there's another disease X comes in, another pandemic, and they want to do the same thing again, we will be the one who stand in front and say, look, you screwed up last time. Why are we doing this again? None, zero MPs in Parliament have spoken up against the draconian VDS, which is no scientific basis at all, right? No job is actually infringement of human rights, right? Nobody actually voice out, not even a squeak, right?
Have lah. I think Leong Man Wai.
Same for Mr. Leong, my staff.
Yeah, Leong Man Wai talk about pro-choice.
Yeah, pro-choice.
He say that we should not coerce people to that corner whereby there's no jab, no job. Yeah. So that's the only voice that we heard.
Yeah.
Other than that, no one talk about all this. And why I ask you to think about the thought process? That means the thinking process. What are they thinking? Are they thinking about opening our economy, about money, or are they thinking about your health?
Your safety.
Your safety.
Yes.
Number one, what is the safety? And what if they get it wrong? Because some policy is not that we can reverse. Some are irreversible.
Yeah.
And it is irreversible. You should ask yourself, can I take the damage? And what if this damage happened to me? What can I do? No one is answering this portion. Okay, so let's see I hope Singapore mainstream media start to talk about this vaccine injury. Video 2.
Come out now much more into the public domain. Now let's look at some of the detail here. This is more or less straight from the article. It's published on the 3rd of May 2024. Case study it starts off with. I've decided not to use names on this. The names are in the article. The article, you can get it. I think you might have to register, but you don't have to pay for it. You can actually get the article, which is also good because New York Times articles are often paywall, so that's another very encouraging sign this is coming into the more public spectrum of consideration. So, I'm not going to use the names, but 37-year-old woman fitting well. Within minutes of getting the Johnson & Johnson COVID vaccine, felt pain racing from her left arm up to her rear and down to her fingertips. So pain straight away, within minutes. And that's got implications as well. Was there an inadvertent intravascular administration or a greater level of intravascular administration, you might think, but we don't know that. Felt pain racing from her left arm to her ear and down to her fingertips. Horrible. Within days, she was unbearably sensitive to light and struggled to remember simple facts. And it's interesting that it actually starts off with this. So this is the New York Times, so it's quite a powerful starting paragraph, really, I thought. Now, 3 years later, diagnosed with brain damage, cannot work, drive or stand for long periods of time. She says, devastation of what this has done to my life, and how much I've lost. And one of many accounts, of course, and we have interviewed so many people. Kyle Warner interviewed just a couple of days ago on this channel. I'll put his link to the video. Who's now campaigning for vaccine damage awareness. As of April 2024, there was over 13,000 vaccine compensation claims filed by the federal government. Now, what I've done here is I've actually taken the data that is published, government data here from the United States, and they are saying that there's 13,116 claims, but what is telling on this is compensated claims 12. So in the United States, 12 people have been compensated for vaccine damage. 12 out of the entire country. Quite incredible. Of the cases that have been put forward, 19% have been reviewed, 47% deemed ineligible for compensation so far. 12 claims paid out, an average of $3,600. This has to change because, firstly, these people deserve recognition. And secondly, we have to restore trust in our medical systems. Now, those medical systems have now got to prove themselves. You know, the journal system, the pharmaceutical system, they've got to prove themselves worthy of trust, and that's quite a big ask, some might think. But we have to have this transparency, because at the moment we have this lack of trust, and it's doing no one any good whatsoever. And to hide these things is not fostering trust and understanding and the reality of the situation. This has to be remedied. Immunologist, vaccine expert, University of Yale University, People who say they have post-vaccine injuries just completely ignored, dismissed and gaslighted, which has happened so often, very often, especially in the early stages. People simply told this was an anxiety-related problem. Janet Woodcock, recently retired director of the FDA. It's quite interesting, actually. The people that are free to talk are often retired, and we could give a few examples, or nearing retirement, or feel free to talk, which again is a tragic situation. We have to have freedom of medical scientific expression. Otherwise, we're going to return to the Dark Ages. There's so many implications to this. They just go on and on. Anyway, Janet Woodcock. Some recipients got uncommon but serious life-changing reactions beyond those described by federal agencies. So, okay. Now, interesting, Janet Woodcock's not saying rare here. She's gone down to, is uncommon a weaker word than rare? I would have thought so. Then she says, I feel bad for those people. I believe their suffering should be acknowledged. This is key. The suffering needs to be acknowledged, and they have real problems, and they should be taken seriously. And to her credit, she's saying, I'm disappointed in myself. And many of us, of course, are disappointed in ourselves, but it's good for people to admit that.
That's Dr. John Campbell.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, he said the same thing as you, know.
Yes.
I think one of the live chat
yes.
you mentioned about most of the doctors speaking up are the retired doctors.
Yes.
Yeah. So just now, Dr. Campbell also say, surprisingly,
like Gabriel Oon from our Singapore.
Yeah.
And I think John Tay also spoke up.
Yeah. And one of the key things I realized that what he mentioned is very important. We have to recognize the suffering of those who are injured, that those who actually trust the government, but yet they are injured by the vaccine. Yeah, we should not gaslight them. And how do we actually restore the trust in doctors and medical institutions?
Wait. Someone asked, are you vaccinated?
Don't tell.
Are you vexed?
I'm not vexed.
You are not vexed.
I'm not vexed. Yeah.
You're not vexed.
Yeah. I think I actually introduced myself the first podcast. I actually graduated in biotechnology.
Okay.
So during my course of study, we actually study about medical patents. And medical patents actually, like drugs or vaccination, we have a long trial period. So one thing when I look at the data, is just smell of something fishy lah. Because
6 months.
6 months or less than 6 months. Because first of all, you have to take into consideration during that period of time, there's a lot of people being locked down. And with the data, you have to actually summon a lot of people to trial. So how do you get the big data, and how do you actually show it's safe and effective? Secondly, for any vaccine, minimum we need 3 to 6 years of long-term side effects. So during my first thought process is I want to be safe on it. Yeah. So that's why I'm not taking the vaccine. And because we don't know the long-term side effect. You jab now, it's okay, but what happens after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, we don't know. And it's irreversible.
Yes.
You jab it, you cannot take out ma. So that's
you start to talk like me.
no, that's my thing. Like I think okay, sorry to use the word bullshit lah. I just felt like it's bullshit. How can you do something like within 6 to 7 months? Then on top of that, you still have to market to all the government and have to distribute all the logistic. I think it's less than 6 months. Easily it's less than 6 months to get all this vaccine out. Yeah. And during the first video, we can see that the mainstream media is actually spreading misleading information. The first video, the very short one, right, is Anthony Bola. He's the Pfizer CEO. What did he say? He said that the vaccine is 85% effective in preventing infection. And the news anchor actually asked him, clarify, are you saying that if efficacy or efficient in preventing the transmission? Yeah. So right now, many of you have actually taken the vaccine. You know the effect.
Yeah.
You know how good it is. And it's like, I think you know how it tastes. Yeah. Okay, so next, let's chill out a little bit. We'll go to the champion.
The champion.
Who's the champion? Okay, so you show the image 3, OBU.
OBU.
Okay, so the LTA say that you can put your processing unit anywhere you like, as long as it actually fits the place lah. or it doesn't block. But this one, someone is actually driving a Porsche. He say that it was suggested, means it cannot put in front because too narrow. So the only feasible place is to put behind the driver's seat. The first thing I see, I'm laughing. How are you going to actually go behind your car and insert the cash card or whatever?
Well,
It's
he
like,
must be curse and share, man.
yeah, to put yourself into the Porsche driver shoes, how will you feel?
The whole OBU thing doesn't make sense. It's outdated junk, right? How can a processor cannot have a heat tolerance of 50 degrees Celsius? As I say, I'm been a computer man. I repair computers. I do all sorts of things earlier part of my life. Okay, even the first generation Pentium, right? The heat tolerance is 80 degrees Celsius.
Mm.
How can this piece of thing have a heat tolerance less than 50? It doesn't even make sense to me.
I
Right?
think, okay, not I think, most Singaporean are hoodwinked. Like when they say like 50 degree, do you know there's this quality standard called AEC 100?
Yeah.
AEC stands for Automotive Electronic Council. They actually issue a
Okay.
standard. So by just now I mentioned about 85 degree, right? So
Yeah.
that 85 degree is the grade 3. Grade 3 that means the
Yes.
lowest grade.
The lowest grade. Correct.
So if you want to install any electronic product, right, the lowest grade is like you have to actually tolerate 85 degrees Celsius. I mean, there's the grade 2 and the grade 1. Grade 1 is, I think, up to 150 degree Celsius. 150. So you all can go and check AEC 100 Google. Then you know. So which means that this OBU doesn't even meet the most basic standard. Yeah. It's like, well, I would say it's junk lah. I mean,
to
like,
me, it's junk. You spend half $500 million.
oh yeah, half a bill for this, I think then it's a junk lah. I mean, we are not getting value for money things. You're paying a lot of good money, but getting something that is of inferior quality.
Yes, this is our theme for the podcast. Good value for money, right? In governance. Are we getting good value for money in the good governance? Right? Just now we are talking about vaccine, the decision making process
The
and
top process. How
the top process.
Yeah.
It's not about to treat you whether vaccine you will die or not. No. I think it's over. What is done is done. But we are talking about processes that decisions are made, right? Bits by bits, whether it really makes sense and really rational. Or in that sense.
Yeah.
Now this OBU is another case, right?
Yeah, so we are not getting good value for
Yeah.
money. So one of the key things is that PAP has been in power for how many years?
Well, 60 years, coming in 60 years.
60 years. So I can safely say they are complacent. And what we can see from a lot of policy making, right, they are just plain lazy and complacent. Let me give you one on LTA thing. Do you realize that, right, for taxi,
Yeah.
the incongruence, why I say they are lazy, there's this strong incongruence, but no one reviewed the law.
Which one?
Okay, for taxi, right, do you realize that for young child below the height of 1.35,
Or you must have a
no need child seat.
no need.
Taxi, no need. Taxi, to
Okay.
me, right, maybe to LTA is defy the law of physics.
Oh, okay.
You see, no need child seat. But for PHV, Grab vehicle, they need child seat.
Once it's a taxi, it's safe.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people realize this policy incongruence. It means that why
Okay.
literally they are both car.
Yes.
So why is it that if I flag a taxi, I go up the car, I no need to take child seat. My child is safe.
Okay.
But then for PHV car like Grab or Tada, all this, right, they must have a child seat.
Okay.
You see, no one is reviewing or answering.
Yeah. LTA again.
Okay, yeah.
It seems to be LTA problem.
So why? So only thing I can conclude is lazy. Because there's no opposition, no one challenge, no one actually keep them on the toe. You can see the parliament is like empty.
Yeah.
No one is talking about, hey, actually this rule we should have some congruence. Like, hey, why this one like that? Why this one? Why taxi no need? Yeah. So,
If you continue to vote for PAP MPs, you will see all the empty tables and empty chairs. Every sitting of a parliament. Nobody question anything.
yeah, no one,
Right.
because there's only about how many? 10.
Yeah.
10 opposition.
They only need 12 will do.
Yeah. And there's 83 PAP. 83 PAP and only 10.
Yeah.
So
Even when they want to pass a constitution amendment, they only need 30.
yeah.
Right.
So just now I asked, any of the PAP actually voted against the GST rise.
Yeah.
To my surprise, right, zero. When I was informed that there's no PAP MP, none, actually voted for against the GST rise, right, I went to the parliamentary Hansard and go through. True enough, no one actually voted against. So why do we need so many PAP MP?
Yeah. We have another lazy policy coming.
Okay,
We will take
so
a
I
look,
just show you other lazy policy. You must see the governance and the
Next
thought,
one.
thought process. You show the smoking one, smoking
Smoking.
image. You can see on the top left-hand corner, right, is a smoking corner in Thailand. Even Thailand has a nice smoking corner. Then on the right-hand side, right, is the smoking corner in Japan. Korea also something like that. And how about our smoking area in Singapore? We just want to squeeze maximum profit. We just the government just buy a bottle of paint, right? Yellow paint, then draw a box. You all go inside. To me, this is lazy and then disrespect to the citizen. Because the smoker actually pay tobacco tax, and tobacco tax, I think Singapore is the highest in Southeast Asia. And this is what they are giving you. Okay, I'm not saying I encourage smoking. But some people say, oh, they want to discourage
Are you a
smoke.
smoker first?
No, I'm not smoker.
Yeah, I'm not smoker also.
But this is about respect, and this is about thinking for the people, because smokers are not criminal. No?
Yeah.
You must understand. Yeah, they make the choice to smoke, but they are not criminal. So you cannot say I want to discourage. That's why you discourage through price action. You can say I raise the price so that you don't smoke so much. You see. So the yellow box, you see how many people? This is Orchard Road, Lucky Plaza. You know, Singapore always rain. We are a tropical country. At least Japan, they put a roof. You see, put a roof, put a few chairs. People can go inside. During raining, they can smoke. Yeah. So this is one example about lazy policy and disrespect of the people.
Yeah,
The other thing I think is depressed wages. Depressed wages. Okay. Previously I shared about this. I didn't share on this podcast, but I shared on this Ponzi demography. I will later on this podcast I will put a link. This is by a world-renowned population expert. He talked about Ponzi demography. So you just read through, then you see whether Singapore is going through all the phases or not going through, and then you make up your own decision. Okay, so I want to show you that our salary for the lower end people are actually depressed.
Who are the lower end first?
Those people doing the front line, like service crew on like fast food service crew, security, hourly. Okay, I choose the country is Australia because the cost of living is quite close. They are quite expensive. Their food, everything. So you go to salary. You can see side by side, right? The left-hand side is McDonald's in Australia. So how much are they paying per hour?
Well, per hour,
25 Aussie per hour.
Or 25 Aussie is about 25 Sing dollars.
Yeah.
About 1 to 1, right?
Yeah, about 1 to 1. 25 per hour. Singapore, you go to the service crew, right? It's about $8.
$8.
Yeah. Why I choose this? Because the Big Mac, the meal is almost, it means maybe we are a bit expensive, or they are slightly a bit more expensive than us. But how come in terms of the remuneration for the workers, there's so much differences? If you don't compare, you don't know. You think Singapore is good. Once you compare, right, then you say, well, actually quite a fair bit. Of course, I think the first one, detractor, right? Detractor on the Facebook or whatever, they will say what? They will say, but their tax is very high. Australia.
Yeah.
No. Okay, their tax is not 50%,
Okay.
but it's about 40 over percent. So let's just say 50%. Your minus 50 is 12.5 also.
Yeah.
12.5, right? We are still $8. We are still losing. And then this $8, you have to contribute CPF, no? You have to minus another 20%. Yeah. Okay. So next, we talk about nursing. So because the nursing, right, average salary for a nurse in Australia is 82,000 per year.
82,000 per year.
Per year. Entry level. Entry level is 77,000. Again, I know a detractor will say their tax is very high. Okay, no, minus 50%. It's actually not 50. It's about 40%.
I think less than that, you can do rebates and all that.
Yeah, correct. You still rebate, so it's actually less than 50. Even you give a 50% cut, right, it's 41,000. You see the average of our nurse? And then their entry is 77,000. Our our Singapore local nurse, right, is how much? The most entry one, 1,009 or 1,000 something.
I tell you a joke about
In this
this.
1,009, right, or 1,000 plus, right, still have to minus 20%
Yeah.
of CPF.
No, I tell you about a joke about this nurse thing, which I
Okay.
know. MOH wanted to increase the nurse because they're losing nurse. Even the foreigners are leaving Singapore because of low wage. So they go to Australia, go to Dubai and all that during the COVID time. So they try to go to third world country, even the third world country, Sri Lanka, Philippines, even Myanmar, right, and all that. And they try to recruit 20,000 nurses,
Wow.
right, for some reasons. And guess what? They are trying to employ senior nurse from the country. And guess how much they pay?
Don't know. Less than 2,000.
In US dollars or US
I
dollars?
think senior nurse for third world country,
Yeah,
maybe if we give 2,000 USD should be quite okay lah.
1,200 only, my dear.
1,200? Are you sure or not? Wow, yum siap. Okay, one thing I want to say is that Singapore,
but okay, no, 1,200 doesn't include lodging.
wow, yum siap.
So someone will come and ask me, hey, like that can or not? I say, especially I think last year or the rental were even HDB very high. I say the rental in Singapore is how much really? 1,200 can survive.
I think one room is about
1,200
800
you
to
times
900.
1.4 lah.
Yeah.
Times 1.4 is about 1,800 lah.
Yeah.
1,800 can survive.
Cannot lah.
I look at it, I say, you must be crazy. Unless they do overtime lah.
Yeah.
Correct. Even overtime cannot feed themselves. Right? So that's how their proposition is this. You pay low wages, you will not attract locals. Definitely.
Yeah, correct.
Right? Definitely. So even for seniors who have at least 5 years of experience in their country, you are paying to them is a lot of money. They may be attracted. Wow, back then they might be $600 US dollars, but their cost of living is very low. Right? They don't need to pay rent.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
So this is a joke that I can share with you. Right? Yeah, it's really a joke. Of course, now you heard, because I told that guy that they need to provide lodging, and they need to convert some of the empty schools into dormitories for this nurse. And now what? They are doing it. Not that I want to claim credit, okay? Nobody knows about it. Very few people know. I was the one who told them, you go back and negotiate with them that this must be done. If not, you cannot get nurse who can be happy, because if people are not earning enough money to send it back, how can they be happy? If they are not happy, they are not going to treat your citizens on the bed, hospital bed well.
Yeah, correct.
Right? That's for our interest.
And the other thing is that our cost of medical, right, is not cheap. No? In fact, if it's not in fact, or remember or whatever, it is the most costly in Southeast Asia, our medical. So at the highest rate, right, medical cost, right, we are employing like very low wages worker to take care of people. So for those, right, who support PAP, you ask yourself,
don't think that it's good that we get cheap labor from foreigners, or foreign countries, because ultimately when they serve you, you'll be affected.
Ask yourself, right, who are going to speak out for you on this matter? And are you going to die when you vote for opposition? Okay, next I will talk about hospital bed.
Hospital bed.
Because recently Ong Yi Kang, right, our
boast about increase
health minister, he said that that our doctors, he used the doctor data, but he actually skimmed through. He didn't talk about. He just like glossed through. He didn't talk about the bed per 1,000.
Yes.
So show the hospital bed image. Okay, so on the left, right, is the OECD country, which means that those quite okay country, right? OECD country, the bed per 1,000, and versus Singapore bed per 1,000. All the years, you can see that their average is around how many? Close to 4, 3, 3 point something to 4.
For the Europeans.
Yeah, European country. So in Singapore, actually we used to do very well. So we are close to 4 bed per 1,000. Until this data is until 2014. So at 2014, right, is 1.8 beds per 1,000 people, which means that 1,000 people, right, only 1.8 beds.
Please remember that in 2011 election, I was the only one who raised about this big issue.
You can see, right, the data point on the left-hand side, right, in the 60s, right, is about 4. And it's gradually going down to 1.8. And then because the hospital is at maximum capacity, so since 2014, right, government have been wrapping up. So right now we are around 2.3,
2.4.
2.3. It's around there. But it's still way below OECD country. If you don't compare, right, you don't know. You think it's all is well.
Yeah.
But then we can't say that PAP is good in planning or have foresight, because you can see that either they are doing it deliberately. You can see that from 4 to 1.8 and then now 2 point something, right? They have been in power for all this while. You telling me that they don't have the planning?
But don't bet your every penny on this that it will keep improving because we are continuing having more foreigners to increase our population.
Okay, the next image.
The next image.
Okay, the next image is showing that on the right hand side, it shows that out of 33 developed countries, you can read, right? So what is the thing? It say that Singapore has the lowest, not one of the lowest, has the lowest out of all these developed countries.
We are proud to always to be the top, the first in everything, but this become the lowest.
So there's no excuse to say that, wow, only PAP got foresight. You tell me this is foresight. This is good planning. It's either part-time planning or slipshod planning. Slipshod, you don't really care, then something happened, then we start build up. Yeah. I remember, right, why a lot of people respect Lee Kuan Yew. And I have to give it to him. I also respect him. The reason because, right, during the 80s, right, we are developing the Changi Airport. And then he said that for the airport berth, right, the plane, we have to build slightly bigger. So someone asked him, why do you want to build bigger? The plane right now are not so big. But you know Lee Kuan Yew say what? We have to have plan ahead. And we have to build bigger because air travel will become a norm in future. And we have to cater for bigger planes. Yeah. So that's his vision, and he has the foresight to plan ahead, to cater for bigger things. If you give the current government or the 4G government, they will just plan sui or even lacking, so that everything is like packed to the max.
No, I beg to differ. They spend a lot of money, still don't know how much they're going to spend on the T5 terminal. They will build big, right? Plus megaport, they are built big, but only for hospital for our people, they stinge on it. That's the problem with this government. Is it a good governance? Taking care of the citizens' core interest should be their first priority.
I think medical is a big issue. Just now go back to just now the hospital bed.
Yeah.
Just now we compare OECD, right? So I didn't mention about Asia. You see, top 2, right? Asia, South Korea, Japan. What is their bed? About 12.
12.
More than 10.
Right.
More than 10. So where are we in the top 10? We are not over there. So you're talking about we being like top or we are paying the highest salary for all our ministers. And yet this is the planning they are giving you. No? And that's no wonder the medical costs keep going up. Because there's so little bed.
Supply and demand.
Yeah, supply and demand.
Yes.
Do you remember in the 90s, we are called the 四小龙, right?
Yeah.
Or 4 Asia Tiger. So looking now, right, I think Hong Kong is not doing well. Then we are following behind Hong Kong. The other 2 countries, Taiwan and Korea, where have they gone to? During the 90s, we are, in fact, I think one of the better one.
Yeah.
We talk about soft culture and our infrastructure. Soft culture, we have a lot of top songwriter. Do you remember? Songwriter?
In Singapore.
Singapore. Sing Yao.
Okay.
Then we have all the top songwriter for Hong Kong singer.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are actually writing. So we are beating everything. In terms of our sports, right, and culture, right, our sports are not doing too bad. And in the early 2000s, we are in fact the king of Southeast Asia of football.
Really?
Yeah, we won the SEA Games Cup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But where are we now?
Okay.
Yeah. And then during the 2000s, we still have chartered semiconductor.
Total semiconductor. We got during our time because a lot of people lose money.
Other semiconductor. But now, fast forward 20 over years, right now, what are the global brands Singapore boasts of?
SIA lah.
Only
SPF.
SIA.
Only
So
SIA.
because this government is doing things, if you observe, there's a pattern. They are doing things the how do I say, the instant noodle way.
Yeah.
They want fast
result.
fast result. They don't do planning. So you see where our football team, where are we now? There's nothing to boost off. We only boost off a lot. You see the report card recently, CNA actually give this, we have a lot of population, we have a lot of houses, but there's nothing else. In terms of South culture, we no more talent in the industry. Yeah.
Think about Lee Hsien Loong's report card. What do you think?
I mean, they actually give a very nice, but we are not talking about all this. Imagine. no, it's giving hospital bed, salary, depressed, all this. Why Australia is giving like $25 per hour, and then we are giving up $8 to $9 per hour. So you have to ask yourself, yes, all the report card is very spectacular, but how does it actually affect your life? Does it improve your life? This is the key question you should ask.
Now, we are talking about quality of governance because the quality of governance will actually affect the quality of life for you. Right? This is a very direct impact. Don't think that governance got nothing to do with you. Everything to do with you. Right? Your healthcare system, whether it is providing quality service to you, is part of the quality of life.
You can see South Korea, their hospital bed is way up there. And then we talk about technology. I just realized that actually Taiwan, right, and South Korea, they make their own fighter jet. They manufacture their own fighter jet. Fast forward now, they make their own defense, but we still buy from USA.
Very expensive.
Very expensive.
And
it's really, really costly.
Yeah.
And why are they making their own fighter jet? And even Japan, all these Asia countries, they are making. So in terms of tech, we are lagging behind. In terms of soft culture, I can say K-pop and K-drama, they are bringing billions into Korea.
I can tell you, before PAP comes into power, even we are not talking about 1980s. Singapore is a Venus or the cultural hub of Southeast Asia. Do you know that?
I don't know.
All the painters in the area, in this region, all comes to Singapore to sell their stuff.
Oh.
Their artists. Right? Those I know this because during my school times we study art. My teacher is quite a famous artist. So he said that during that period of time, they will actually have a tour of artists, go to Bali and do painting and come back to Singapore and sell their art. And we, in Southeast Asia, we are the first. We are even before Hong Kong have its motion picture. That means we are the first to have a motion picture, no?
Wow.
In Malay.
Wow. Okay.
Right? That is Singapore history, which PAP never tells you, because they were the one who destroyed it. They forced the Shaw brothers to close down.
I mean, I can understand from the earlier years, right, when PAP took over, they are probably thinking about economy.
Yeah.
They are thinking about survival,
Yeah.
because we actually break away from Malaysia. But this survival mode, right, has been too long already. We cannot keep on surviving. We have to think of other aspects, the compassionate part, the inclusiveness part. How do we now we are much better. How can we cater to those like less privileged? Yeah. So how can we fine tune and make this place a better one, and not just keep on focusing on one aspect, which is the economy. Because if you focus one aspect, right, there's a price to pay for everyone.
Yes.
And that is the price that we are talking about. We're lagging. We are always going for a low hanging fruit, the easy one. So right now, what can we boost off? There's no tech. Our soft culture is gone. We have the highest. We can boost off COE.
Yeah, we can boast of the highest cost of living.
HDB, right? If I'm not wrong, right, you can Google the world most expensive
public housing,
subsidized housing. Subsidized housing.
Okay.
World most expensive.
No, it's not true. Hong Kong have the most expensive subsidized housing.
Hong Kong mostly are private, ma.
No. They do have a category of subsidized housing. Yeah. It's still expensive.
Okay.
Yeah. So give them some credit, number two and not number one.
Okay, I just want to share a recent trip to
Okay.
JB. I went to KSL again. I usually go
Okay,
once.
KSL.
Yeah.
Hey,
Then
next time I join you.
can.
Okay.
There's a lot of Singaporean. I go to their food store. This all
Okay.
Singaporean.
Alright.
Okay, so what happened in the KSL trip is that there's this person selling condo,
Okay.
and then you guess how much he's selling? Ringgit.
Ringgit. 1 million?
No, 400,000,
400,000.
which convert to around 115,000 Sing dollar.
Okay.
So then I asked, how big is your condo? Foreigner can buy or not? I said, yeah, foreigner can buy. The house is 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom, 2 toilet. So which is equivalent to our four
Four-room
room
flat.
4 room flat.
Okay.
Then I see, is it furnished? Where's the location? Actually quite near KSL, bah. It's about
Okay.
20-minute drive.
Okay.
But they have like shuttle to CIQ, all this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but when I went back, I go back and start thinking. I say if they sell at 115,000 and they still can make, they still have to employ the agent, still have to rent the KSL booth, have to pay all this rental. How much is the cost of the construction cost
Okay.
per unit?
Mm.
So maybe it's less than 100,000.
Yeah.
Impossible is like 100,000 because they are selling 150 they can't make like 15k only So how much is it? And given that our public housing 4-room is about 500,000, average about 450. Yeah, so how much is the land cost and how much is the construction cost? I think it's donkey years, right? Jamchitong until now, 40 over years. They are not answering. Don't answer means they don't want to answer.
Actually, this one can find out. As I said, some information statistics can look for it, but they hide it. They will not tell you straight. If you want to know, you just go to the bidding, right? The contract, because HDB when they want to do construction, they will have open bidding.
Yeah.
You look at the cost, you will know. Right? I was told that it's about 170.
170
Yeah.
construction.
Yeah.
How come so expensive?
I don't know. well, the subcontractors and all that workers levy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and the other thing is recently the Tengah.
Okay.
Tengah. I don't know why HDB is not addressing. There's so many issues I see on TikTok, all this, right?
Yeah.
They are saying how good is the quality. The quality of the door is so good that it's so hard to turn the door knob. The curve of the
That's to prevent thieves.
the curve of the brand new window frame is curving. Beautiful curve. It's not straight one, no?
Wow. Okay. Artistic, right?
Yeah, and the aircon dripping. I'm not sure, and they are selling at a very premium price. Yeah, by the way, the KSL one is a private, not subsidized.
Okay.
And they also furnish.
Okay.
Yeah, HDB is not furnished.
So those who live in Tengah will just shifted in. You know who to vote for, right? PSP is down there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. We are actually uniting. We are talking to opposition as well. We
Yeah.
want to unite this thing. Why this election is important? Because we have to plan with the end in mind. How many opposition we should go in, right, to have the present? It's not 5, not 10. A lot of
We need
people say,
30.
just give them a few
No.
vote. Vote in, this is useless. We need 40. 8 GRC.
Yeah.
8 GRC upfront, you have to understand this portion.
One thing, we are all for opposition unity. That's
Yeah.
why we are in the alliance. And I can tell you that even for those people who are not in the alliance, right? I self-koyo a bit, I feel that people like Paul Tambaya, Professor Paul Tambaya, Dr. Chishun Chuan, right, who have spent their whole life fighting for Singapore, although a lot of due credits are not given to them. As I have spoken, like Dr. Chi have 4 books, I think, 4 or 5 books. Some of the ideas have been actually co-opted by PAP without acknowledging his contribution. I think they deserve to be in Parliament. Not only I deserve, of course, I would say I deserve lah, but but Children John is actually my senior.
I just want to say that Singaporean is a fortunate lot. There is people like Chishun Juan, Meng, right? They are still speaking up for Singaporean. Imagine one day they are gone. They just step down. They are not speaking up. They are old already. No one is speaking up. I can tell you for sure, young young Singaporean will not spend the time, the money, the effort. All these things that went through, we do the research, go through a lot of hours of video just to clip all this, right, to go through without any single pay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not only
so,
video, reading research paper. Wow.
yeah, correct. So who will do this, you see, for Singaporean? Like for me, after work, I still come here, rush over.
Yeah.
So I just hope that you actually benefit from this media, and then you can also support us through the donation, because
Yeah.
this one, some people say People's Power Party has no branding. It's a small party. The only difference between the bigger opposition and us is just that we don't have the money.
No branding, because you didn't vote for us. If we get a seat in parliament, we will have a branding.
Yeah.
All right.
So the only difference is this.
Yeah, it's a chicken and egg thing.
Yeah. So you have to donate to us, and then we actually can actually have the present to do much better things. Like the last few round, right, there's people donating. So we try to enhance the equipment, the sound. We actually listen to it. We actually make it much better. Yeah. The other thing I want to say is,
Okay, talking about donation, I appreciate those who have donated. I really appreciated it. And no amount is too small. Okay, no amount is too small, and it really helps us in many ways, right? But we really need more, right?
Yeah.
Because if we want to win 40 seats in total, we need to send more people.
yeah. So tell yourself no blank check. If you just now he mentioned about
Blank check to us, never mind.
Chishun
No blank check.
right? A lot of people has been misled by the
Yeah.
mainstream media. I just want to say something. If you read his book, right, he's actually a very brilliant guy. Because I read his book. I don't know him personally. I read his book. Do you know a lot of issue that and concern he point out, right, is happening right now? He talked about inadequate retirement,
Yes.
the asset class, our HDB is going up too high eventually. He's way beyond, like 20 years advanced. He's seeing all this issue. But people just don't trust him. But imagine we have to put him into the parliament. We have to put him, like people like him having keep standing up for Singaporeans, speaking up for your rights. We have to put them in. And before we end the podcast, right, I just want to share this very short video. This is from animation.
Yeah, but we can forget about him. Yeah, it was just one ant. One ant. Yeah, you're right. It's just one ant. Yeah, boss. They're puny. Puny? Say, let's pretend this brain is a puny little ant. Did that hurt? Nope. Well, how about this one? Are you kidding? How about this? You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay?
All right, interesting. This animation.
Yeah.
What do you want to say? Who is the PAP there?
I don't want to say anything. I just want to say the unity. If you unite together, yeah, we have to be united together.
Yeah.
That's the key thing. And that's also one reason why every time someone speak up, they actually try to hit it down. They'll POFMA, they'll do anything just to make sure you keep in line. Because with more opposition coming in, it will affect their way of life.
You will make them more busy because they have to answer a lot of questions before they start to implement things. It's not a bad thing. PAPs say it's a bad thing. It will slow down progress. It's not, because we are just saying pause, think through. Just like a vaccine, just like BDS, right? Just like population growth without due consideration of infrastructure, like the hospital that we have brought up.
Yeah.
So it is not a bad thing, okay? Because what goes forward cannot, most of the time cannot go stand on.
Yeah, some policy are irreversible.
Yeah,
like
irreversible.
HDB, how to reverse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So thank you very much, Derrick. I think I appreciate your time.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. We can only share our thoughts and what we can do for you in Parliament as a whole to improve the quality of governance. Right?
Yeah, I hope I bring up enough scenario, like from the smoking area to the salary to the hospital bed. You can see. I hope I bring enough scenario that you can see that all these are due to lazy.
Yeah.
Ah.
And of course, last but not least, our donation. I hope that you can support us for our effort in the coming election. Right? No amount is too small.
Yeah.
Right? Because that is the sense of unity that you fight with us in this cause. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us for the podcast. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.